Hello, my name is Jennifer Thawley, and today I'm going to be sharing with you guys my community in words and pictures. So here's a map of Elk Grove, California. On another slide, I have an additional view of this map as well, because I know it's quite small there. So here we get into a little bit of some information here. Elk Grove is located in Northern California, which is just 15 miles south of Sacramento, which is the state capital of California. So a little bit of background information about myself. I moved from Sacramento to Elk Grove when I was just 4 years old. My parents wanted to raise us in Elk Grove because of the community um, of safety and overall, most importantly, the school district. It's been known to be one of the top school districts in California and has been able to maintain that for several years, numerous years, in fact. So, as a mother now of three children, I also share those same desires as my parents to continue to live here in Elk Grove. So moving forward, we will be discussing who are the residents of Elk Grove. Well, Elk Grove has a population of about 163,000 people. And I also notated here that for the population ages 25 years and over, 90.1% have at least a high school degree, and 38.1% hold a bachelor's degree, and 12.9% have a graduate degree or higher. There are many working professionals in the city, and I think that's what makes it overall such a good community, because I feel in my personal experience living here, a lot of myself and other families share similar goals and values as far as wanting the best for our children, and that comes down to safety and education for us being two of the main factors besides just being a beautiful place. So here we have races and ages and gender. So we are pretty diverse here. And when we look at for males, there's an estimate about 79,000 males, females 83, almost 84,000 there. We have at least under 5 years old, there's about 10,000, and we got all the way up to 65 years and older, almost 2,000. But our bigger numbers are populations are from 25 to 54 years old is where you get those numbers in the 20,000 and plus. And as far as population here, we have about 18,000 Caucasians, American Indians are 17,000, and we have Asians, Hispanics, all types of different ethnicities within those races. So it's heavily diverse. So this is an annual crime report for Elk Grove. So this table illustrates reported crime, and the crimes were separated by violent and threatening property crimes. So you see here that, again, this is just reported crime. So this doesn't include crime that has gone unreported, which is quite common with crimes. But again, I'm not going to get into that. That's criminal justice aspect of everything. We're just touching the bases here. So there have been about 3,000 reported incidents. And this report is per 100,000 citizens. So there has not been any reported incidents of murder. So that's really great. In California, there's been a 4.9 there numbers of murders. There's some rape, robbery, there's 94 assaults, violent crime, But overall, as far as violent crimes, they're not that big in numbers when you compare it to property crimes. And we see a property crime of 2,300, and we have theft of 1,760. So overall, when you put those numbers into perspective, the Elk Grove crime rate is still 43% lower than the average crime rate overall in California. And that's 40% less than the national average of the United States. So that pretty much sums up that Elk Grove has a pretty low crime rate, which makes it a safe, considered, shall I say, a safe community. So now we're going to get into here the map of California. Sorry, excuse me, the map of Elk Grove, California. And it's actually really growing. When I came here again, I moved here, almost 26 years ago. So it has grown a lot and it continues to grow. It's a very fast growing city, and a lot of community members feel a couple different ways. They're happy about the growth, while others are having trouble adjusting to the change. However, I'm all for it. So here's just additional facts and just a little bit of a summary. Again, that population is 163,000. Our median age, again, we talked about the 25 until the 56 years of age, and our median age is 35.4. The median household income is 83,000, so that's a pretty good income. Poverty rate is very low. It's 9.7%, very, very low, which that's another good thing. And number of employees estimated is 74,000. So there we go there. And property value is sitting at 317,000. And that's median. So I feel like that's pretty fair and very accurate. So formal institutions. So that's when we go into places of major employers and established businesses. So we have Apple Incorporation here. It's literally down the street from where I live, and it is continuing to expand, and it's working on a really big project. It's taken a couple years thus far, and which is great because that is going to bring new jobs and opportunity for the community, and providing sufficient opportunities for growth creates a desirable community for its residents. And in fact, not to go off topic here, but I recently was looking for an additional job working from home. And in fact, Apple offers some programs for students working at home in my area. So again, opportunities for residents, and that would be great. But again, Apple, according to KCRA news anchor Kathy Park, she reported that Apple Inc. employs between 2,500 to 3,000 people. However, with the expansion, those numbers keep on increasing. So that's really good for the Elk Grove community. Informal institutions. So Nextdoor. Nextdoor is actually a social media forum that I actually use, and it has been so beneficial for myself and for my neighbors. We are able to share what is going on in our community, from it being crime, families who are needing help or experiencing some poverty, anything where we like to share with our neighbors. And it's the place where we go, and it's what's great about this is I have formed a lot of good relationships through this network. And I've noticed that myself and my community has such a strong desire and utmost respect for the concern and safety of every resident living here in Elk Grove. So it actually worked out for me recently. There was an incident that occurred, and I reported it not only to the police, but also to my neighbors, and we were able to gather our own information together to form a better general idea of what may have occurred. And so that's helpful, getting people involved, because if it's not being discussed, then we are not being aware. So, like this image shows here, over 67% of homeowners feel safer when they know their neighbors. 93% say it's important for neighbors to look out for one another. 35% of people who know their neighbors reported that they have shared information with them about crime and safety. And 79% of people that use an online neighborhood forum talk with their neighbors in person at least once a month. And that is very true, because I have actually met people, my neighbors in my community from next door, because they have seen me at my child's school, and we've discussed some issues that I have brought awareness to, vice versa. The good community assessment. So in the article, the 9 key elements of good community, and sorry, let me go back a little bit to the article, Seeking the Good Community. It involves 9 elements that make up a good community. Number 1, safety. 2, goods and services. 3, relationship that binds citizens together. 4, values and goals, sharing that common among each other. 5, whole personal principle. 6, predictability. 7, a recognized place in social structure. 8, opportunities. And 9. So as I compare both Elk Grove to the 9 key elements, I feel like Elk Grove really truly embodies the 9 elements discussed in the article. Its crime rate is low in comparison to the state of California and the nation, which ensures safety and product of familiarity. A familiar, a product of familiar among those differences. And basically, in other words, we know what to expect from a day-to-day basis. Of course, every day things are going to change, but it's pretty consistent in our neighborhood and community. And I feel like Elk Grove continues to expand in goods and services, which enables access to sustain the accessibility of daily living. And like we mentioned, opportunities are met through formal institutions such as Apple Inc. and informational institutions like Social Network, Nextdoor. A system bringing citizens together and embodies a whole person principle in creating fulfilling relationships. And lastly, I mentioned that in comparing the community of having those religion organizations, it really creates a diverse community, and it resembles a recognized place in social structure in celebrating all social and cultural differences. So here are my references. I hope you enjoyed hearing about my community that I love also very much. All right, thank you so much.